A journey into the unknown. To discover a new world. A new home. A new beginning. For mankind.
Hi, I'm Greg Tito, Editor-in-Chief of The Escapist, and I'm here to talk to the co-lead designers of Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth. So I'm here with
Will Miller.
And I'm David McDonough.
Cool, and you guys have been working on this game for how long?
We can't actually say, but it seems like it's been quite a while.
Yeah, we've certainly been thinking about it for an awful long time. We both grew up on the Civilization series and are huge fans of the entire legacy as well as Alpha Centauri.
Well, as David said, we're huge fans of Alpha Centauri. We played that game a lot. And that game was a great companion to Civ 2 and Civ 3. But Beyond Earth really draws from the entire legacy of the Civilization franchise. So we've learned a lot since then, and we've put all of that into this new product. So Beyond Earth certainly makes homages to Alpha Centauri, but it is a very different game.
Yeah, some of the things that we, I would say, or were most heavily inspired are the idea of landing in an uncertain future, so surviving on a new planet that you weren't meant to be on, the planet itself as its own kind of entity and player that reacts to you, having to take these very ideologically driven stances against your opponents and kind of vie for who's going to be the one that gets to decide what humanity becomes. These are all like things that Alpha Centauri did very well. They're very appropriate to the science fiction future context, and they were at the very heart of this vision for this game.
So when we first decided to make this game, David and I sat down and we planned out a roadmap from where we are right now today, the geopolitical spectrum of today, to 200 years later, to when the great seeding starts. And this is when the nations of the world send spaceships out to colonize other planets. And it was fun for us because we got to kind of reassemble the nations of the world after what we call the Great Mistake, which caused a humanitarian crisis on the planet. And that was really fun. So a lot of our leaders speak like a combination of languages and display several cultural identities to imply this mixing of people. And they all have very strong personalities, but they're not necessarily divided on these ideological lines. We want each leader to be a puzzle that you have to solve as a player through diplomacy, covert operations, and just seeing how they react to certain situations on planet.
So this would be the point at which your ideology starts to come in after you've chosen your faction and everything else you're going to start the game with. The affinities are sort of existential perspectives on what humanity is going to be. They're all based on kind of combinations of post-human ideas about where we could end up, given certain circumstances. And we picked three that we find most evocative and also probably most interesting in opposition to each other. There's the Harmony Civ, or Harmony Affinity, which involves you examining the planet as your new home and trying to make yourself an ideal life form to live there and live in sort of symbiosis with the planet. There's the Purity Supremacy, which says that humanity needs to be preserved. We need to bring our culture and our past with us and keep it safe and make the planet into a place where humans belong. And then the Supremacy says humans are saved through technology. It's how we got off of Earth, and it's how we're going to survive wherever we have to go from here. So they embrace things like computers and robotics and try to like sort of transcend their organic origins to be this omnirace. And so when you play the game, you have the opportunity to devote yourselves to any of those affinities. All of them in some blend, but one in the dominant. And so the combination of that, the particular technologies and the strengths that you have chosen, and then things like your faction and so on, add up to be who you are at the end of the game. And it's a unique combination every time, every playthrough, every opponent that you face is a unique combination.
And what are some of the benefits that you get from having a specific affinity? Are there new powerful units? Are there definitely more orbital things or wonders that you can do?
So the unit progression is governed by affinities, and you kind of unlock these unit classes by technology in the center of the tech web. But to level up those classes, to upgrade them, you have to invest in specific affinities. Each time you gain a level in an affinity, an upgrade will unlock, and at that point you can choose to accept that upgrade, and then you get to pick perks within it. So even if I have a Harmony build and you have a Harmony build, depending on how we've chosen to upgrade our units, they could be quite a bit different.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just the military where your affinity is expressed. You'll see it across the board from the cities to the terrain, the land that you're using, to the leaders themselves and the way that they look. So, if you're playing the Harmony Affinity and Harmony's emphasis is on the land and becoming one with it, you'll find that your civilization gains lots of advantages in that avenue across the board, including, how much nourishment you derive from the landscape, how easily you're able to move around it. The toxic miasma that's harmful to other peoples is helpful to you. You're able to domesticate the aliens or even re-engineer them and create new life forms. And there's comparable advantages that you would get for the other two as well.
Well, when your army starts to change based on your affinity investment, it's very dramatic because the change in power is also accompanied by this really substantial change in aesthetic that matches the affinity. So it's pretty cool. Even just the standard Marine, which becomes kind of irrelevant in a traditional Civ game, late game, evolves to be a really complicated, a finesse unit, depending on how you choose to evolve it. And there are some really fantastical ones on the far reaches of the web. These specialized units for each affinity branch that you get are really cool. The Purity flying fortresses and the designer aliens for Harmony, and then the Supremacy, walkers and things like that. They're all very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really like most fun is when your army starts to become an expression of like what you care about and the style of player you have. So in like historical Civ, cannons are good for everyone, battleships are good for everyone. But in this game, at the end of the game, you could have two radically different armies, each one effectively a representative of the player that made it, of their just attitude towards everything. And they can go head to head on the battlefield, in a balanced way, but with very different styles. It's really satisfying.
We'll learn more about Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth at E3, and we'll tell you all about espionage and all the other systems that are available to this game as you guys finish it and get it so that I can play it and kill everyone.